Hey, hi everyone. Let's talk through few topics on admin side. So we'll go over these questions, okay? So what is sharing? What are the public groups? So details around that I'll just give you a overview. So okay. So if I ask you what is the how we can control the access. Suppose I create a new object, a new custom object in Salesforce, custom object. What is the default sharing on this? Where I go and check the default sharing, right? So you must be knowing for any custom object, we have to navigate from, or rather, we can say for any object, we have to navigate from your setup, then go to sharing setting, right? For checking the org wide default, that's what we call it as a org wide default. And here we can see what is the default. Suppose you created a custom object and the default is public read only or read write. So always remember one thing: whenever you create a new object, or if you are working on any existing object, check the OWD here. What is the default? So there are multiple options here, right? Public, private, public read write, and transfer is only for case and lead object. Okay. So now this is for a custom object. Now, when we speak of fields, right? If I want to give access to fields, open up access to the fields, or restrict access to the fields, what we use? So, we always use either profile or permission set, correct? Via profile or permission set, you can control whether user has read access to the field or edit access to the field. If you give edit access, he will get the read access as well. Now, the second thing comes up while we are sharing the data, right? When we share the data to the user, how we can share the data? What are the different ways, right? Sharing data, like access of data. So for controlling access of fields, we already know, right? Via profile we can check, okay, whether read access or edit access. But for controlling data, what are the different ways? So for controlling data access, right, we have different ways. Either profile permission, because there, if you have noticed, we have view all modify all permissions, which will give access to the data or open up access to the data. Whereas there is another thing called sharing or sharing rules, right? How we can share the records. So sharing is available only on objects where OWD is private, right, or public read. There you can open up sharing. For other records, you cannot open up sharing. Now consider a use case. Say you have a group of users called sales manager and another group of users called insurance manager. Okay. So sales manager, you want to share all the records which are of type share or which are of type service. Okay. And for insurance manager, you want to share the records which are of type service or repair, right? So here you want to share type service, and here you want to share type repair or insurance. Now I have a set of records. Here if you see, I have a set of records. I have a group of users who need access to service type of record, who need access to your repair or insurance type of records. How we can give access, how we can open up this kind of access? So this is a profile of the user or a user group, we can say here. So we are talking in terms of user group, not in terms of a profile, because profile level we cannot give access using sharing. It is only via your profile permission to give access, like modify all or view all, which is not recommended, right? We should not give view all or modify all access unless it is a business use case, right? Always remember thumb rule is make it private, right? The OWT should be private and then slowly open up the access. So how we can share the record? So if you go to sharing rules, let's quickly go here. If I want to create a new sharing rule, right, on say my opportunity object, so I'll click on new. Now what are the options I have? I can have ownership based sharing or criteria based. We can ignore this one, right, for now. So now what I am saying, I have a set of records where I want to share service records with this public group, repair record with this public group. Because I cannot share with the profile, I have to create a public groups, which is very easier way. There is other way is called role based access, but we are not going into roles, correct? So now with public groups, I have created this public group where I have this many users part of this public group, and this public group I have this many users, 25 users who are working as a insurance users. Okay. Now how I can share? I can write either ownership based or criteria based. So here what my criteria is, the records which are of record type service should be shared with sales manager group. So what I need to do here, I need to go to criteria based. I have to select okay where the record type is XYZ or whatever criteria you want to add, and then share with which public group you want to share. You can select the name of the public group here, and then what level of access, read or write, read write, correct? That's the way you will write one sharing rule for your sales managers and one another sharing rule for your insurance manager group, right? Now consider another scenario where I am saying, now I have 10 users in this public group and another 25 users in this public group. My requirement is out of this 25 users, for this 6 users, I want to give access to service record as well, because there is a sudden workload and these 6 people are saying we can manage service records as well. We can work with service user public group. So in that case, what we can do, simply we can create another public group with these 6 users, and then what we can do is ownership based sharing. So the records which are owned by this group or this group of people to be shared with this new group. How we can do that? Using ownership based. Here we can select okay this is sales manager group, and then share the records owned by share manager group with the your insurance group that you have created, and give access whatever access you want to give, read or read write, right? Because if we speak of this other types of sharing, right, so if I consider okay why only sharing with the help of criteria based or ownership based, why not using manual sharing or apex sharing? So manual sharing is again you have to go on each and every record and then share, right, which is not feasible, because in real scenario there will be thousands of records, right? So that's where it is tricky. With apex sharing, it is only for a very dynamic requirement. Say I want to say like okay opportunity, if the value is 10,000, then access should be given to this user group. If value changes to 25,000 and status is XYZ, then give access to this user, otherwise take back the access. So in that complex scenarios, you can go by apex sharing. But other than that, you can use sharing rules, and with sharing rules you can just use the types, right, ownership based and your criteria based. Okay, I'll give one more simple scenario again. Now see, I am saying I have records. Okay, these many records I have. Now I have one more attribute added in future, which says is record deleted. So whenever a record is deleted, I want to I don't want to delete it physically, but delete it as a soft delete. So I have kept one flag. So whenever user deletes record, I want to set this flag, yes or no. But the issue is now users are still able to see the record even though it is deleted, because as per my criteria rule, I am saying service give access to this, repair records give access to this. But now I don't want records which are deleted to be visible. So I need to add another additional condition in the same criteria based sharing rule. I have to say, okay, where record type is service and is deleted is equal to no, only those records should be visible. So that's how you can control the sharing. Okay, so this is all about the sharing.